There's a brutal truth most men refuse to face. You are being manipulated every single day by people who understand one thing better than you: how your emotions control you. They don't need chains. They only need your anger, your approval, your need to be liked. And once they have that, they own you. That's how entire empires fall, not through war, but through seduction of the mind. You think you're choosing freely, but every reaction, every outrage, every fake smile is a pull on your strings. The Stoics knew this centuries ago. Epictetus warned, "No man is free who is not master of himself." If someone can provoke you, flatter you, or guilt you into obedience, you are not free. You are a puppet. But here's where the shift happens. You can sever those strings. Through awareness, through control, through detachment. This isn't T about becoming cold. It's about becoming so internally disciplined that no one can steer you off course. In a world built to manipulate, your self-control is your rebellion. This is not just another motivational message. This is the Stoic cure for manipulation. He thought he was in control. Every decision felt like his own. The way he dressed, what he said, how he worked, who he loved. But quietly, piece by piece, his life was being shaped by others. His boss dangled approval like a leash. His friends used guilt to keep him compliant. His partner weaponized silence to control his peace. And every time he gave in, not because they forced him, but because he feared losing their validation. That's the silent slavery of modern life. He started saying yes when he wanted to say no. He stayed quiet when he should have spoken truth. He chased acceptance and called it loyalty. One night, he caught himself staring into the mirror, realizing he didn't even know what he believed anymore. His opinions weren't his. His habits weren't his. Even his ambitions felt borrowed. That was the moment he broke. He remembered reading Seneca once. "You act like mortals in all that you fear, and like immortals in all that you desire." He realized he'd been fearing the wrong thing. The real danger wasn't rejection. It was obedience to manipulation. That night, he made a vow. No more guilt-driven decisions. No more fake peace. No more emotional blackmail disguised as love. From that point on, he wouldn't be manipulated, because he would control the only battlefield that mattered: his own mind. Manipulation only works when you crave something from others: approval, comfort, validation, control. The Stoics understood this 2,000 years ago. That's why their power wasn't in dominance over others, but sovereignty over the self. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This is not philosophy, it's strategy. The moment you accept that no one can touch your peace without your permission, you become untouchable. The manipulator thrives on your emotional reaction. They provoke, flatter, or guilt-trip you to create imbalance, because control begins with confusion. Seneca saw this trap clearly. He who is everywhere is nowhere. When your attention is scattered across others' opinions, you are never fully present within your own conviction. Every guilt trip, every fake compliment, every "you've changed" is bait, designed to make you doubt your stance. But the Stoic doesn't bite. He observes, breathes, and returns to his center. He knows manipulation isn't a moral battle, it's psychological warfare. The enemy is not the manipulator, it's your need to be liked. Epictetus said, "If you wish to be a writer, write. If you wish to be a philosopher, think." Simple, ruthless. The Stoic doesn't beg for clarity, he creates it. Every time you define your principles, you cut another string the world tries to tie around you. To the Stoic, manipulation only succeeds where ignorance lives. If someone can guilt you, it's because you haven't yet decided your values. If flattery sways you, it's because your identity depends on praise. And if criticism destroys you, it's because you haven't yet mastered indifference. Freedom, then, is not about outsmarting the manipulator. It's about outgrowing the need for manipulation to work. When you no longer need their approval. When you no longer fear their silence. When you no longer dance for their applause. you become something else entirely, a man impossible to control. This is the Stoics' rebellion, not to fight the world, but to become immune to its psychological games, to walk through emotional storms untouched, to live, as Marcus wrote, as if you were already dead, meaning free from fear, free from want, free from the invisible strings that make men slaves while calling themselves civilized. The Stoic doesn't escape manipulation by hiding. He breaks it through awareness, detachment, and absolute clarity of self. Here are 5 strategic tactics to become unmanipulable. 1. Stop being agreeable. You were not born to be everyone's emotional cushion. The manipulator feeds on your instinct to please, your fear of confrontation. The Stoic rejects this. Practice saying no without explanation. Let the silence hang. As Epictetus said, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. People who manipulate cannot control what they cannot emotionally hook. When your self-worth is no longer for sale, their currency dies. 2. Control your reactions. Own your face. Manipulators thrive on visible emotion. They push, prod, and provoke until you flinch. The Stoic trains his micro-expressions like armor. When insulted, he observes rather than reacts. This isn't suppression, it's precision. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." The second you pause, you take the manipulator's weapon away. Calm is power. Stillness is domination. 3. Set invisible boundaries. Weak men talk too much about boundaries. Strong men enforce them without words. Your time, your energy, your focus. These are your sacred assets. Do not let others spend them freely. Don't explain why you left the conversation, declined the invitation, or stopped replying. Stoic boundaries are quiet walls built from discipline. Respect doesn't come from demands. It comes from consistency. 4. Detach from outcomes. The manipulator's strongest weapon is your fear of loss. The Stoic flips this. He expects loss. Marcus Aurelius reminds, you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. When you realize you need nothing external to remain whole, manipulation loses oxygen. You become unbribable. You stop chasing what can be taken. Detachment is not apathy. It's tactical freedom. 5. Master the pause. In a world of impulsive speech and digital chaos, the one who pauses controls the tempo. When someone pressures you to decide, to agree, to react, stop, breathe, reclaim the moment. Every manipulator uses speed to confuse. Every Stoic uses stillness to dominate. In that pause, you become larger than their intent. As Seneca said, no man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity, for he is not permitted to prove himself. The pause is where your control is proven, over impulse, emotion, and external influence. To become unmanipulable, you must live by one rule: own your inner state at all costs. Your peace, your pace, your purpose all under your command. That's what makes a Stoic not just unmoved but unbreakable. You were not born to be controlled. You were not born to bend under the opinions, expectations, and manipulation of others. You were born to stand firm in the storm, unshaken, unowned, untamed. The world will always try to move you. People will guilt you, flatter you, twist your emotions, and call it love, loyalty, or respect. But a Stoic learns this. Control of self is control of life. No one can chain the man who governs his own reactions. Marcus Aurelius faced betrayal, envy, and pressure from every side. Yet he wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That's the core. Strength is not about shouting louder. It's about being so calm, so certain, that no one's words can enter your soul without your permission. The manipulator's worst nightmare is a man who doesn't need validation, a man who listens but is unmoved, who observes but does not absorb. That man is dangerous because he can't be bought, swayed, or controlled. So the challenge is this. From today, stop giving your peace away so cheaply. Every time you pause before reacting, Every time you choose stillness over chaos, you fortify your inner citadel. The more you train it, the more unbreakable you become. If this message spoke to something deep inside you, then don't let it fade. Like this video. Comment your thoughts below. What manipulations have you learned to rise above? And if you're ready to build your own timeless Stoic mind, subscribe now. This is not motivation. This is war for your inner freedom. And it begins with one unshakable choice: to rule yourself.